chance to seal it. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly. Rotherham United's pathway back to the championship is opening up.
Good evening, welcome everybody to New York Talk's end of season awards show. The most glamorous event of the year is upon us again, as we look back at a poor season. We'll hand some awards out to some people that aren't watching. Basically, that's what's going to happen. Thank you all. We will talk about the hack situation as well and a few other bits as well, just to tide us over for the rest of the evening and make us cry a little bit. But we'll get there. Mick's back with us. How you doing?
I'm all good, mate. Yeah, I'm just wondering where these actual awards are. I assume that they don't exist either.
Correct.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Seems fair to me.
Podcast budget is limited. I didn't want to, you know what I mean?
No. I have to, the Ultimate Human belt, obviously.
Yeah, well, especially bearing in mind the person that's probably going to win the main award tonight is not even at the club anymore.
Yeah,
so, you know what I mean? Not ideal. Tom's back. How you doing, Tom?
Yeah, good. After watching the Crystal Palace City final, it got me remembering another exceptional Dean Henderson performance at Wembley. So yeah, those were better times as well.
Yes, they were. We should also give a shout before we start. There is the book signing at New York Stadium tomorrow. Holly Hunt's book, which I had Holly talk on a while ago now. There's a book signed out at New York Stadium. If you're watching on Monday, if you're watching live, it's on tomorrow night at New York Stadium with Frex and Woody. So if you're not doing it on Tuesday evening, even if you just go see Woody and Frex, that's not a bad thing to do on Tuesday evening. But we've got to support the book as well because it's one we highly, highly recommend. Let's just get this out of the way. Proud of my evening all about hacks, but there you go. Matt Miller says life without hacks, as Gary Lineker might say, the show has to go on. Yeah, Mick. Let's be realistic about this. This was news we all knew was happening. We all live in hope, but this was happening, and it's good that it's done now. You know, I remember when Smithy and Nicky left, pre-season had begun. I think by the time that was confirmed, this has done. We can kind of look forward and remember the good times, I suppose. Yeah,
absolutely. He's been a great servant to club, and like we've said before, you know, he sums up Rotherham United, don't know, the way he plays his football, the way he approaches the game, and the way he conducts himself off the pitch as well. So, yeah, he's been here 4 years. You know, I think arguably it probably is time for him to move on. I didn't want him to go, but from his point of view, from a career perspective, you can't blame him. And there are going to be clubs who are going to offer a lot more money than we could possibly offer. So, it goes with my absolute best wishes and thanks for what he's done, the way he's performed and the way he's played and the way, like I said, just the way everything about him. Absolutely love the man, and I hope he gets a fantastic move and something that'll set him up financially for life. That's what because that's probably what will happen if he gets a decent club. So good luck to him and thank you. That's all I'm going to say, really.
Yeah. Tom K, at least he hasn't messed the club around. He's actually given a proper answer, which I think is important as well. Paul Rigby says, gutted he's gone. Can't blame him. Good luck, hacks. These moves come around. To be fair, they come around rarely, Tommy. We've had 2 in 2 years, if you look at Victor last year as well, where as a fan base, you're gutted that it's happening, but at the end of the day, you're going, thank you for what you've done. How rare is it to wish a player well when they leave the football? Normally, we just don't care. But we've got a few players in a row that we care, and as long as Hacks doesn't score against us next year for something in League One, I hope he goes on to have a massively successful career.
Yeah, and I think it's exacerbated by how poor the last couple of seasons have been, and how how much of an opposite he's been because of that. He was just the man to call upon. I mean, looking back through those 30 seconds highlights that the club posted, they're such important goals. I mean, he scored the first goal against Blackburn that kicked off our championship stay, and then finished it by scoring the goal that actually kept us up. He had times this season he popped up with important goals. He was the man for all occasions. He did a job at the back. He did a job in midfield. He would have been an absolute ideal candidate to rebuild around, but when it comes to, as Mick said, when it comes to financial, gains, that's what the players ultimately have to look at. And if a club's going to offer him twice, triple what we can offer him, then, you can't really turn that down as a person with a family and all that. So yeah, he goes with best wishes, because he put his heart on the line every time he stepped on the pitch for us, and it didn't go unnoticed. And just wish him the best, apart from if he plays for a League One side next season, and in which case I hope he tries to dribble in his box and gets dispossessed. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Henry Hammer says, crazy thing, a few years ago he wasn't anywhere near the first 11. Shows what a professional he is. To be gutted he's gone. I think that's one of the things that we can talk about these moments, and there are some, the memorable moments that Tom's just mentioned there.
Yeah.
The sign of a proper professional is biding your time, being patient. He could have gone that 1st January. He signed in August. If there would have been other players that would have padded and gone out on loan or gone permanently 6 months after they went, but they didn't. He stayed, stuck around. Anybody you speak to at the club will tell you how good a professional he was in training when he wasn't playing, and he got his chance. And well, there was no turning back with him. Yeah, he got his debut, I think, in the Stoke game where we won 1-0. I think that was his debut. And he got booked early on because that's what Hacks does. But actually, he's never looked back. It was crucial. Without Hacks, we wouldn't have stayed up that season, would we? Let's be right about it. It was crucial, certainly the second half of the season.
We wouldn't have stayed up this season as well.
Yeah, you could argue that as well, actually. Yeah. True. Paul Rhodes, we've lost a great captain as well. He seemed the case. He just, again, you speak to professionals and players who knew him. He seemed like the kind of guy. He had that Victor vibe around him where people wanted to be near him and be with him and play with him and things like that. So it's not only a big player, technically ability-wise, it's a massive character you've got to replace in there, a huge character, which will make Matt Hamshaw's job a little bit more difficult to do. So we had him in the podcast, we shouldn't forget that. We had him on the podcast and he was fantastic and lovely then. He probably showed up his picture, didn't he?
Yeah.
For his goal that he scored. It was lovely, Hacks. Anyway, again, any fan that's met him will tell you the same. A lovely man. The highlights, can you think of anything other than the Borough and Blackburn goals? Are they the two real standouts, aren't they, really?
I think they're the standouts for highlights, but the thing with him is he's been so consistent wherever he's played, whatever position he's been played in. He's looked a natural there, hasn't he? So, but yeah, I think the Middlesbrough goal probably was the highlight because of what it meant. So, yeah,
there was. Yeah. So sorry,
he is still with us. We're talking as though.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Sorry.
No, there was I can't remember what game it was, but there was a game that he started at that right centre back position in the Championship last season, and it was almost like I think he'd been injured a couple of games and he played there for his first time, and he was just absolutely exceptional. And that's as I say, I can't remember who it was against, but I remember him being the best player on the pitch, and that was when fans and I think backroom staff should have realised, all right, we need to tie this man down for another couple of years, because he's either going to have another season performing like this and you can get rid for money, or you rebuild around him. So unfortunately we did neither, which is something that needs to be addressed in due course. But yeah, I think there was a couple games in that Championship season last season where things were not going well, and he was the only one to step up.
Yeah. Matt Miller says, I wonder if Tony Stewart and Evans' regime had bent over backwards at the right time, chasing Hack's signature, we would be where we are now. Steve Mixon didn't even know about Hacks. Sorry to break the news to you, Stevie. Apologies. Callum says, correct me if I'm wrong, but we now have no players left from the 21-22 promotion campaign. We do have one player left, but it's you wouldn't have expected it to be Josh Coyote, would you?
No.
Yeah.
Well, technically not. He might, he might not sign.
Right.
So
that's the point.
Technically.
Phil says, think Humphries will be next, probably. Yeah, probably will be. That's a matter of time. But again, I think it's same kind of thing. It'll be where it is. Anything that we're going to talk about Hacks in a bit anyway, because we're doing the award show in a minute. So just to recap in the categories that we have player of the season, young player of the season, loanee of the season, signing of the season, goal of the season, individual performance of the season. That's from a Rotherham player. team performance of the season, best opposition individual performance, and moment of the season. We chucked 3 of these out for public vote, so they will be the results of that one. The rest we will have a mini debate about and come to a decision as a group.
Does that mean everybody? People in comments as well, not just us 3.
Oh yeah, people in the comments, absolutely, certainly, absolutely.
For
I'm
that.
sure we will have forgot a lot of things. So let's start with the public votes first. We will tell you who the nominees were, and I'll tell you who won, and then we can talk about the players, I suppose. The first one we had was the best new permanent signing going back to last year. I picked as nominees Joe Powell, Joe Rafferty, and Zach Jules. Is there any other players that you guys think of that should have been in there? Because there was a lot, but I couldn't think of any more to put on.
Not really. No.
Dawson was all right in the games he played, and McWilliams as well, but none. They weren't playing over the season enough to get a shout at that, I don't think.
And Matt Williams has been very unlucky anyway with his injuries.
Yeah. If he were fully fit, he might have been in with a shout.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Zach Jules is one of those again, Tom, that's made the list. But had we had a better season than we had, he wouldn't have made the list because he just weren't fit enough. Again, he was one of those that just weren't fit enough. But what we saw of him, we all liked very much.
Yeah. And I think he'll fit Hamshaw's system perfectly on a left centre back role. He's athletic, he's composed on the ball, he's good in the air. Sometimes gets caught, positionally. I remember a couple of times he gets caught in behind, but his pace is that good that he recovers. He was just there was nothing about him that was flashy, and I think that's a good thing for what we're looking for in a centre half, because he was where he needed to be when it mattered in the box. He was quick enough to recover when he got caught out, and he was comfortable in possession. A couple of times he drove up the pitch. A couple of times he was, laid some nice passes. Nothing too flashy, nothing to, because he was always upstaged by Hacks next to him, unfortunately. But I think if you can get him in that back 3 that we seem to be opting for, alongside 2 other, players similar to his ilk, you'd be looking at you could probably get the best out of him. So I think he's a really positive signing. I think, especially because he's quite young, he'd be someone I'm looking at for a contract extension already, I think.
Well, he's only got 1 year left, so.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, there's I think the whole squad is more or less, you're looking at contract extensions now, or else they're going for a free, aren't they? So. Yeah,
exactly. I completely agree. Sign him up.
Agreed.
Joe Rafferty is the next one I selected. Mick didn't do anything exciting, but he's almost a classic right back. He's just solid, quiet, gets on with his job. Got that Housery side of him as well, which I'm a huge fan of. But again, in a better season, we wouldn't even be talking about Joe Rafferty. But because of the season we've had, that's why we've noticed him a bit more, because he's kind of had to shine a little bit more.
Yeah, it must be a Joe thing. He's a Joe-matic, isn't he, with a right foot?
He is a bit.
He's got all those things, but not quite as tall, probably. But yeah, you're absolutely right. He's been solid all season. He a bit of a shaky start, but everybody in the squad had a shaky start. But once he found his feet, he's been fantastic. Been really, really good. So it's a good shout, But I don't think he were ever going to win in the company that he was with, in terms of this particular accolade, for want of a better term. But yeah, good signing, really good signing.
Yeah,
we had 3% of the vote voted for other, but they didn't tell us who the other was. So, don't know who that was.
Me, I voted for Dylan Phillips.
Yeah, I think maybe a little weakness with Rafferty though is that I don't know where he fits in the team next season, and that's not because he's a bad player. It's just because he's not a wing back and he's not a centre back. He is a out and out right back, isn't he? So it'd be great to have around the dressing room, but for his personal sake, I think you might be a little bit disappointed with the amount of game time he gets. If Hamshaw gets in the players that he wants, I think he did good at right centre back, but going forward, you want to have someone a little bit more taller at the back for sure, and a little bit pacier, I reckon. So I agree. A player that was good, and I'd like to see him in the starting 11 next season, but is looking less and less likely.
Fit him in it. Joe Powell was the winner by 76%. So
Close then.
I think he's played the second most amount of minutes this season, Mick. Chipped in with some fantastic moments, some really, really good set pieces. Just the one goal, which I think we'll get more than that next year, almost certain of that. But he is somebody of the current squad, especially Hacks leaving and probably Humphreys and whatever else. There's not many players in that squad where you go, I'm excited to watch him next year. Joe Powell is the one where I'm really excited to see what he does and what Matt Hampshire does with him and this team going forward. He could be one of the top performers in the league next year. He really could be that good if he's used properly, I think. What do you reckon?
Yeah, 100%. Because you give him the ball, and unfortunately for him, he didn't see a lot of the ball to start with. We relied on set pieces and the ball sailing over his head and him picking up the second balls. So which again is not really his game, is it? And we talked towards the back end of the season where he was starting to sit in that little hole in front of the back four, like Liam Kelly. And if he can add that to his game as well, he'll be an absolute superstar. So it's clearly a talented lad. Obviously got some development still to do, but fully deserving, I think, of being the top signing without a doubt.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, 10 assists again in a bang average is putting it politely top. To be fair, so again, in a team that's a bit more clinical and a bit more everything else, you may even see more than 10. And 10 would be an okay return in an okay season, wouldn't it? To be fair.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I think even if a non-Rotherham fan goes, okay, who's been your signing of the season? If you look at the stats, I mean, Powell's one of the best playmakers in the division based on stats. So, he's created like the most big chances. He's got the second most assists or something. He's created over 100 chances. It's ridiculous how underappreciated he feels from us at times because, his set pieces are sometimes abysmal, and I think he'll admit that. But there are moments of quality that you don't get from any other player, and that left foot can be wicked. The only thing that is his downside is he doesn't score enough. But as you said, I think he's not been in the right positions really to score. So yeah, I'm happy for him to be signing of the season. And again, like Jules, someone I'd want to tie down for more than just a year. I think it'd be very disappointing if he has a season like we've just had, and he'll go on to bigger and better things, I reckon, and we should be a part of that. I don't see why not.
Yeah, just putting a bit of context for assists as well. In the 21-22 season, Dan Barlas had got 10 assists. And he took all the set pieces and everything else. So we got Joe Powell's getting the same level of stats in a significantly worse team.
Yeah,
Chio did get 11 in that season, so I think bit Lalas wasn't the top, but the point still stands because Powell's closer to a Barlas type player than anything else. So Joe Powell is the signing of the season. Congratulations, Joe Powell. Your awards in the post. Harry says late contender for Sean Raggett. Yeah. Right. Next one we will go for one we can talk about is goal of the season. Now the club obviously put this out and they went for the Malik Wilks. Well, the vote was Malik Wilks' second goal, I think, at Mansfield at home. There's not much to put from, to be honest with you, Tom. It's either Malik Wilks, or Malik Wilks. That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
But I think the club vote was bang on, to be fair. I think that second goal against Mansfield showed his real qualities in his all-round play. Yeah.
I mean, Nombe's was great. The goal against Bolton, not the one off his arse. Yeah. But for me, I don't know if it's your favourite, Mick, but my personal favourite was the Peterborough goal. I just think it had so much more. I think it had swagger and class and kind of personified him as a player. He gave the Sparks 3 yards on him and still beat him in a foot race. Chopped him inside so Sparks couldn't actually find his feet near the corner flag, and then buried it bottom right, which wasn't an easy finish. I just thought everything about it oozed a bit of swagger and arrogance and class that kind of personified Wilkes as a footballer. So for me, it would have been that Peterborough one. But honestly, any of the goals he's scored, even the one against Stevenage was absurd. And you can name, I think he got like 10 goals or something in the end. I think 8 of them were probably goal of the season contenders in any other season. So yeah, he was just a wicked footballer.
Yeah, I agree. The Mansfield one, Mick, again, if that's somebody else scoring that, then that's been talked about. The first one against Mansfield is kind of pushed under the carpet a little bit, but it shouldn't be, because that's a pinpoint finish with virtually no backlift. Again, just kind of showing off his technical ability as a winger, and why I'll probably get a really good move next time.
That would have been my goal of the season, the first one against Mansfield. You've got to love a top corner, edge of box curler, and you know what I mean. It's just, yeah, I love it, and more so because the second one, fantastic run, strong, everything else. He could have gone wide. It could have gone anywhere. You know what I mean? He toe poked it, and he did really well. And it is a great goal. Don't get me wrong, but the quality in that first goal, the way he made the space, the way he's got the ball out from under his feet, and then just curled it into top bins, for me, it's a better goal in my opinion. I'm not saying it is, just in my opinion.
I agree.
It's absolutely outstanding.
Yeah,
the technique on the finish for the second one is arguable, if that makes sense. He's done. No, listen, he's done all the hard work, and it is a fantastic goal. I'm not trying to be negative or critical of it, but my point is, the first one is more rounded. Everything about it is just perfect for me.
Well, helpfully, we've all gone for different options.
So we
can't even go with the majority on this one. I'm going to go with Tom and go with Peterborough one. I'm satisfied. I think it would be either the second Mansfield or the first, or the Peter one at Peterborough, just because of the run as well that goes with it. So I'm going to change and go with Tom, and we're going to go Peterborough. His goal against Peterborough as the winner. Well done, Malik Wilkes. That was a shoo-in anyway when my phone Mr. Wilkes. M. Wilkes was always nailed on, to etched into that one. Right, let's go on to young player of the season. We have Jack Holmes, who started the season as an under-23.
Can we go under 30s?
Well, I thought I'd put out another candidate for you.
Go on then.
Because we did send Kieran McGuckin out on loan to Yeovil. And he is a Rotherham player, and there's a chance he'll still be a Rotherham player next year. Now, I know it's the National League, but he played 29 times with 4 goals and 4 assists. So 8 goal involvements in 29 games. I don't think it's a bad return at all in his first proper move. Go on.
So what we're saying here is, right, I take you back to the beginning of the season, right, when we're going to reduce the average age of the squad. Yeah. And here we are at the end of the season, considering giving young player of the season to a player who's not played for us this season, but been out on loan all year. What can I say? That gives you an indication as to where we've been. I suspect we won't be having the same conversation come May next year, But what else can you do? Jack Holmes has not played enough, I don't think.
No, I agree.
He's been involved in and around the first team for the bulk of the season, but his game time has not been enough to really get a good handle on what he's going to be capable of. We can all speculate, we can all see the fact that he has got potential there, but he's not had that opportunity to even come close to fulfilling it. Kieran McGuckin has been away, like you say, and he's played really, really well down there. The stats are great for a player of his age, and it's a player of his age playing in that league, which is not it's not an easy league by any stretch of anybody's imagination, is it? So yeah, that's me. I've no what else to say on that. I don't know.
It seems very popular with the Yeovil fans as well, which is always a good sign. They often tell you more than stats as well. Unless you can give me another option, Tom, we're going to go with the young Rotherham player that didn't play for Rotherham. Although he did play for us against Barnsley and was very, very good for that first 45 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, the only other person I'd give it to is Dan Gore, but he's not our player and played 90 minutes probably. So I think we're really struggling with this one, aren't we? And that's no offense to Jack Holmes or genuinely just Jack Holmes. There's no offense to him. It's just there's not many to choose from, unfortunately, who made an impact. So yeah, you'll be hoping that this time next season we'll be having 5 or 6 players. Maybe that's a bit optimistic, but 3 or 4 at the very least who will be in the reckoning for this. And hopefully they're all McGuckin, Duncan, Douglas, all our own. There's a big chance for that to be a case. But yeah, for now, I think we might have to abstain this award.
We're going to give it to Kieran McGuckin. He's a Rotherham player. I think he had a good season. We're going to give it to him. He's been offered obviously a new contract, which we assume will be around a 12-month contract. If he stays, I would expect him to be in the first team. He's 21, coming up to 22 now. I don't think that's the right age to sign to loan back out again. So we may see a bit more of him next year. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Tom Case is Powell for the Young Player of the Year. One of our youngest at 26.
No.
Right. The next one is another. We'll go back to the public ones, which we have as best team performance of the season. Not a great deal to pick from. But the 4 that I narrowed it down to were Northampton at home, which was a 3-0 victory with the Clark Harris double, and Andre Green, I think, got the third. Northampton away, which was the 2-0 victory. First Matt Hamshaw's first away game. First game, was it? Yeah, first game, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, first game.
Yeah. Bolton at home, and then Charlton at home, which was what? 4-2, 3-1?
4-2.
Mick, first of all, is there any others that you can think of that should be in there?
As a team performance, yeah, I can. Team performance, I think Bolton away.
Okay.
When you consider it wasn't an all-out, all guns blazing attacking performance by any stretch of any, not from us anyway. But defensively, I thought we were just outstanding. I mean, clearly Cam Dawson had a wonder game. However, the other 10 players on that pitch contributed massively to that game, and I thought that was a really, really strong performance, and one that I don't think we would have had under the previous manager. So you could have included that, I guess, but I think Charlton at home was probably, from an attacking perspective, one of the better performances of the season. Yeah, I'd go with that one probably.
Was that the one you were thinking of as well, Tom?
No, I was thinking of Blackpool at home with the last-minute winner, and I thought that's the best football that we played against a Blackpool team that was coming into it in red hot form, and we outplayed them. Really, we really did. Sibley, they all were good, but it was Sibley's best game. It was Nombe was brilliant. It was, and then to top it off with a 90+ winner when it meant nothing was fantastic. I thought that was the best. Personally, alongside Charlton, I voted for Charlton in our out of them 4, but yeah, I thought Blackpool at home was fantastic.
I think that's fair. Michael Miller said Lincoln away. We were excellent against Lincoln. No mix.
You think?
I thought we were excellent. I mean, Lincoln were terrible. Let's get things right. But we could have won that game if Wilkes takes that chance in the first half. And I think there was another one where was from Cam Humphreys. Could have easily won that game 3 or 4-0.
I think that from a team perspective, the change up in that with Cam Humphreys into midfield made a massive difference to the way that we played. But in terms of quality, for me, it was a good result, really good result, and a hard-earned result. But I don't, from a performance point of view overall, not for me. I just thought it was pretty average, really. I'm sorry, that's just my view. Again, I'm not expert on this, am I? Quite clearly.
We
must be experts. We chose to do a podcast. We must know everything there is ever is to know about football and Rotherham United. Come on.
Well, you never told me that. I've been doing this a long time.
You think we'd have improved by now, wouldn't you?
No. It just gets worse.
Harry says Crawley at home, a good team performance if the team's goal was to get everything gone. Very good, Harry. Very good. And that's the winner. No, it's not. No, the vote was Charlton at home. which, bearing in mind what they went on to do, and I may well do in a few days' time, was a pretty spectacular performance. We made one of the best teams in the second half of the season look like relegation fodder for most of that game. What could have been, we for a brief moment in that game, we were above Charlton, and now they're on the verge of being in the Championship, and we finished in the bottom half of the table. Happy days, Rotherham fans. Right, what did I say? What team performance? Charlton at home. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Next one. We will go for loanee of the season. Easy, this one, isn't it? Very, very easy, I think. And not a separate song?
No, I didn't play enough.
We had a separate song. Joe Hungbo, Malik Wilkes, Dan Gore, Pele and Panzu, Louis Sibley, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
I can't think of it. So maybe in the comments let us know. Only thing we can do now, Tom, is just talk about Malik Wilkes for a minute. That's all we can do, because there's no point talking about the rest of them, really.
No.
Nobody knows what the future holds. Well, Malik Wilkes probably does, but we don't, as fans, don't know what the future holds for Malik Wilkes. And I doubt we'll get him back. But at times, he was the funnest thing to watch at Rotherham United this season. He offered you the X factor. You didn't know what he was going to do next. And I'm not convinced he did at times. But he was at times just so exciting to watch, and he just had that, like I said, that X factor. He just got it.
Yeah. I think it's unfair to discard some of the lone players, but either way,
Okay.
Yeah, I thought he was, like you say, X factor. I mean, moment of the season, maybe, and I know we'll come on to it, was probably his wiggle of the legs against, and I can't remember who, Huddersfield or something. I can't remember. But it was out on the left touchline. And he just did the weird, and that just summed him up, I think. And then as the goals that we've described before, again, summed him up entirely. He was such a hit or miss player, but when he hit, he was a Championship player, and when he missed, he was unfortunately a League Two player. But he can win you promotion, the title, definitely, playoffs. He can win you any of that on his day. And if you can get his day for a whole season, which I'm sure he's done in the past with Hull and Barnsley for a bit, I think he was brilliant at. You can win a title with him. He's that good on his day. Every game, unfortunately, it seems like it's not. But his wage demands that, because you know what you're getting with him in regards to how good he can be. So, yeah, frightening player. And I'm sure an absolute handful to play against, because he's one of the strongest players I've seen. He's arguably one of the quickest players I've seen. His shot power is arguably one of the best I've seen. It's just, when it all comes together, it's absolutely devastating. But yeah, and his stats under Hampshire were unbelievable as well. It was something like 8 games, 4 goals, 3 assists, or something ridiculous. So yeah, he is one of the. He'd be a statement signing, but it would take up a lot of the wage bill. So you'd have to be so sure and so careful with a player like him.
Yeah, I completely agree, and it's one of those. Mick, again, we said it a little with Hacks and people like that. Imagine that Malik Wilkes in a good team. Tom, Malik Wilkes has that X factor. If you've got a solid team, Malik Wilkes then takes you on to the other level, which then puts you in contention for the top ends of the table. Somebody in League One, I think that's where I'll go probably, because I don't think Championship will take a risk on him. One of those teams that takes me in League One is going to have one of the best players in the league if he stays in League One.
Yeah, without a doubt, on his day, and if he can improve his consistency, he will be one of the best players, probably in the bottom 3 divisions. So yeah, I hope for the lad that he can. I don't know whether it's an attitude thing, a mental thing, or just a part of his game. I don't know what it is that creates that inconsistency. But he seemed to have been more consistent in his performances under Matt Hanshaw. Whether that's just me looking through sort of kind of rose-coloured glasses a little bit, I don't know, or black and white ones backwards. Whatever it is, I don't know. But yeah, he's a hell of a player, isn't he? A hell of a player. So, yeah, good luck to him. Good luck to him. And again, thanks for what you've given us this season. You've given us some really, really great moments in a really, really crappy season. So, you've got to be happy for that, haven't you?
Yeah, and do you remember how miserable when he signed back in August as well? we don't need this kind of player. What's Evans doing? It still stands, but
well, it was in that period of what's he signing wingers for, isn't it? When we're not going to play him, so
true.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Tom Kay, he's one of the cleverest too. Very, very physical, but very rarely gave a foul away, which is true as well. He was he's very footballing smart, very, very, very smart with the ball. Who else did you want to give a shout out to, Tom?
I thought that I wanted to mention that if we get a chance to sign Dan Gore next season on loan, I'd 150% take that up, because I think he was an absolute gem of a player who almost those 40 minutes, 60 minutes, 70 minutes against Peterborough were what you'd want from a Rotherham midfielder. Combative, clever, the little dummy, he knew where to be. He was strong. He was tenacious, energetic. He was everything you wanted to be from a midfielder. So he's someone I'd like to say that if we get a chance to get back on loan, and Hungbo and Sibley were also had their moments and flashes, and it was. I think a lot of the loan players that came in was struggled in that team, and I think a lot of other players would have struggled in that setup as well. So it's kind of harsh to judge them all based on the season we've just had. But yeah, I think I don't think any of them really, barring one or two performances, gave anything below 100%, which is nice to see as well. So I don't think you can really say, that you're glad to see some of the back of them. Some people might be, but personally, I'm not.
I know what you mean. Chris Tether Wilkes says you'll never be able to coach Wilkes to do anything other than what he wants to do. You said that, but how many different positions did we ask him to play in this year? And he was competent and did well in each of them. It was selfish on the ball, but he did a reasonable amount of work off the ball. I mean, he wasn't the hardest working, but he wasn't lazy, was he, off the ball? I didn't think.
No, I think I get what Chris is saying, though. He's one of those players that will sort of plough his own furrow, so to speak. He will do his own thing. I get where he's coming from with that, but I think I'd probably still have him in the team.
Yeah. Oh, actually, if you build a proper team, you can have one of those players in your team.
Yeah.
Absolutely have that one. As long as the other 10 are pulling their weight in a bit more, you can get away with it. Right. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 categories left to go through. So let's go with the best opposition performance of the season. So this will be a help in the comments, please. So this will be the best individual performance by an opposition player this season. There are some that spring to mind. First of all, for me, would be Iwata, Birmingham at home, who just ran the show. And he scored even if he didn't score that first goal, it was just sensational that day. You could pick a couple of Crawley players, to be fair, who tore us apart. My pick's Iwata. Do you two have any picks for the best opposition player this season to either play at New York Stadium or at their place?
That's who I would have gone with. I would have gone with Iwata. I thought he was outstanding. Such a good player. And again, playing in that Liam Kelly position, just in front of defence, and just ran the game. I thought he was outstanding. Really was the standout player of anybody I've seen this season for me. I can't think of anyone else. You're right. There was, but I think both wingers, arguably from at Crawley, from the Crawley team, were really, really good. But he was head and shoulders above everybody.
Yeah, I've got a couple.
Yeah, go for it.
Josh Griffiths, I think his name was, Bristol Rovers goalkeeper. I thought was absolutely outstanding. And if West Brom can get a keeper for next season, I would happily have him on loan. I thought he was, I think he was Bristol Rovers' best player, and he left in like November. He was one of the best keepers in the league. He was so good, so good. And the Crawley player probably was that Hepburn Murphy.
Murphy, the striker. Yeah.
Again, excellent. I think out of contract as well, so that should be one that you should look at. And Cammy Doyle next to him was good. Excellent as well. I'm trying to think of there was one more. Burton, left wing back. I think it was like Dodgson.
Yes, can't remember his name.
And he terrorized our left hand side, and we were bad. We were really bad that day. And that right hand side of Rafferty and McDonald got put to the sword with his energy and youth. And it crosses into the box, we're accurate, and at 22 again, someone else that we should be looking at. And Bodvarsson on the end of it again terrorized our defense. So there's a couple that you wouldn't, Burton and Crawley players that you wouldn't really pick out, but yeah, there was some absolute games where some players tore us apart. But usually across the season, the quality hasn't been great, if we're being honest. So it's harder and harder each year to pick someone, unfortunately. But those were my sort of 5 or 6 that I thought were just, when we played them, they were unplayable.
Yeah, Owen Dodgson is the wing back for Burton. He's on loan from Burnley, so he's only 22. So someone else will be available in the summer. Stephen Roebuck and Scott Grundy saying Louis Barry.
Oh yeah, he was.
Louis Barry was excellent. My problem and why I wouldn't pick Louis Barry, he was excellent for about 45 minutes. Or it might even have been less than 45 minutes. That it was, but for that time, he was unplayable. But he disappeared, didn't he? After we got that goal. Although he was the best player in the League One up until January, I couldn't pick him. Callum saying Doyle, Kamari Doyle, as Tom mentioned. Mike Miller saying Tom, great shout. The Bristol Rovers keeper was excellent. Yeah, Tom K agreeing with Tom with the fullback Dodgson as well. We have to come to a decision.
I think it has to be Iwata. I think he was just unplayable. But I wanted to pick other players that weren't, bought for $5 million in the summer.
Yeah, he were less than £1 million. Him 750k, I think you were.
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, wages obviously. Yeah, he came from Celtic, so I imagine the wages were pretty good, but he was less than £1 million.
He came from Celtic.
I think so. Yeah, he left Champions League football to come to.
No way.
I'm almost certain. I'm sure John's been in the comments. I've spoken to John about it. I'm almost certain it was less than £1 million from Celtic.
He was
because they signed another Japanese player, didn't they?
And he was also quite good.
He was, yeah. But they really wanted the other Japanese player they signed, and then the first Japanese player recommended him or something like that, and then they signed him for Birmingham 750k is note, is it?
No, sure. He didn't really start for Celtic.
No, it was part, Mike Miller. What about Danny Ward? Poor Danny Ward getting sent off.
God, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that one. I enjoyed that game. One of the few games I enjoyed. Right, 3 categories left. Right, this is the individual performance of the season for a Rotherham player.
This has to be unanimous, right?
I can't see anything past Cam Dawson at Bolton.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty unanimous. Yeah. I think. Well, there's probably other. I mean, Wilkes against Mansfield was great.
Hacks in just about every game he played.
Yeah. If you had to say, then, was there one game that stood out for you for Hacks? If you had to say what was his best game this season, surely there's one that he was better than.
No, I was thinking about this earlier when the announcement came through, and I can't think of a game where he was fantastic in that game. He was just brilliant every single week.
He was. I thought Cambridge he went from centre half to centre mid and then scored, and then went back to centre half or something. I thought that was the most ridiculous.
What about when he played right back and gave away a penalty?
You know what? He wasn't even that bad when he played right back, considering he
other than giving away a penalty. 2 penalties. Didn't he give one away against Birmingham as well? Wasn't that his fault?
I don't know.
That was a dive, weren't it? There was never a penalty in a million years. So no, I'm not having that.
Okay. I still gave away 2 penalties whilst we were playing right, but one at Wycombe, one at Birmingham.
Yeah, never mind that.
Anyway. So not those 2 games for Hacks. Any other game. It's just one of those. It's a shame we were in defence all season, because had we been in midfield, we'd have been picking out 7 or 8 different games and 7 or 8 different goals, which were match defining. Because we're in defender. Same with Cam Humphreys. Other than the Lincoln game, we couldn't really discuss a game where Cam Humphreys has been brilliant, but he's had a good season. I think as Cam. Paul Rose, definitely Cam Dawson at Bolton. How highly does that rate as a Rotherham performance? It's one of the best. It's almost Victor-esque, isn't it? Well, it is Victor-esque, but it's almost Victor at Stoke, isn't it? It's not. I don't think it's quite at that level, because that was another world, but it's not far off.
It's not far off at all. Not far off at all. I mean, it'd be interesting to see the stats, the saves made and compare those two games. Some of the saves were outstanding. Brave going down, into crowd onto the floor into crowds of play. It was a fantastic performance, and I don't think anybody came close. It has been a poor season. Let's not be under any illusions, and ordinarily you'd probably have 3 or 4 of that level performances or close to that level performances. But even then, I think that one would top it. It was just a fantastic performance, a fantastic exhibition of goalkeeping. So yeah, there can only be one winner, can't there?
Yeah, I agree. On the topic of Victor, we should send out some congratulations messages as well to the Swedish man. First of all, he got engaged recently. Can't remember exactly when, but he got engaged recently. So congratulations on getting engaged, and also the announcement of a second child on the way. I saw his girlfriend announced earlier. So he's going to be a daddy number 2 in, I don't know, towards the end of the year. So congratulations, Victor.
9 months, I'd imagine.
I don't. Yeah, not from now. If they just announced it now, it's not 9 months from now, is it?
Well, ish. I said ish.
Yeah, okay.
I was gonna. You were trying to do your maths in your head, but you were just like, I'm just gonna go with end of year. Hope for the best.
I think it's October. That's what I was trying to think, but I don't know. I think that's what I've seen somewhere. So that's what I was trying to work out if I knew if that was knowledge or not. But it is now. So congratulations to the Johansson family on a good few weeks. So well done. Well done's not the right word. Congratulations is the word. Well done isn't. Moment of the season. Moving on swiftly. Again, this was down to public vote. Again, people can put in the comments if they've got anything that was different to this. This is a footballing moment of the season on the pitch. Not your wife running across the car park celebrating that somebody's lost the job. We're looking at on the pitch performances, moments. These were the nominations that we put on Twitter. Nombe's goal against Cambridge, which ended the 5 million days without an away win. We obviously in the 90th minute. Nombe's goal against Bristol Rovers, which was 90-something minute goal, which again he had no idea about. Joe Rafferty's winner at home to Blackpool, and Andre Green's winner for the third goal, but Andre Green's first goal after his year out, which was at Northampton in December time. If anybody has in the comments, let us know. I don't think Tom will find a better one than the Nombe. Not better goal, but better moment than the Nombe at Cambridge, where just to break the duck and just to break the duck, just to get that record out of the way in the manner that it happened was not quality, but it was enjoyable.
Yeah, I think all 4 of them are very different moments because the Nombe one was good for reasons. The Cambridge one was good for reasons because of the past 2 years, and it was sort of a looming factor, and it was good to get it done with. The Joe Rafferty one is one of the best, most I've cheered in 2 years almost. And the Andre Green one is just, in my opinion, probably the best one. I just think for him to come back and I thought he was man of the match that game by far. He would. I think he deserved it. His family, he shame he's gone. Been let go, but he would just, I felt like he deserved it as a person in general. So I'd have given it that, but I can understand the Nombe Cambridge goal because that was, something special in all manners of the word.
Relief's a key emotion. That was relief, the Nombe Cambridge goal, and it was just yes, finally. My pick would be the Rafferty one, the last minute winner in that. I think it would be Matt Hamshaw's first home game. I say we used to not quite celebrated a goal like that in quite some time. Even the 2 late Nombe goals were still, again, they were just different kind of celebrations. Even the Nombe Bristol Rovers, that was to break the duck on a Saturday, wasn't it? That was a Saturday 3 o'clock duck. Yeah, that was broken on that one as well. So again, there's a bit of relief in there. Whereas the Rafferty one, Mick, was just pure football. It wasn't. There was no. There's Matt Hamshaw's first game, but there's not a story behind it. It was just that was brilliant, and just 9,000 people celebrated together for what felt like the first time in a while.
It was probably the first goal that I actually celebrated for as long as I can remember. I mean, certainly this season and arguably the bulk of last as well. It was the first goal that I actually celebrated. It got me off my seat and just, out jumping about and screaming because I don't know why. I've no idea why. It was a nothing game. It meant nothing to us, and yet I celebrate. The Cambridge goal? I didn't even. It just did nothing for me at all. I didn't enjoy it. I gained no satisfaction out of it whatsoever. But that one, I don't know. It's bizarre, isn't it? Because, like I say, it meant nothing at all. And yet, for me, that was the moment of the season. Bizarrely, a last-minute goal in a meaningless game. And yeah, there you go. That's me. Footballing moment of the season. Definitely not the moment of the season.
No, I know. This was put to a public vote, so Nombe Cambridge away is the winner because that's what people voted for on Twitter. And occasionally we do like to pretend to be a democracy, and this is one of those moments. Tom K, the best thing about the Nombe goal is that when we scored so late, we didn't have time to throw it away.
Yeah, that's true.
That's very, very true. Apparently, one of the Cambridge goal was very cheeky by Nombe. Very, very good. Paul Chadwick, nothing better than Evans being sacked. Mix with you, Paul. Mix absolutely with you.
Yeah, there you go. Moment of the season.
Right. Final one, player of the season. This is, for us to talk about and decide, and the people in the comments to tell us we're wrong, because, that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Again, this feels pretty easy, Tom. We've talked about it at the start of the show. We don't want to talk about it at the end of the show. I just can't see anybody that gets close to Hacks in terms of consistency this season. We talked about Joe Powell being a very good player and he's had and he's been solid and consistent. But Hacks has just been at another level for basically, other than those moments I've mentioned with the penalties and a few mistakes, he's just been consistent. And he's played the most minutes and he's the captain and everything else. He's just had a great season.
Yeah, but we are forgetting one player. And I mean, every time he's played, Sean Ragg has been absolutely incredible. No, I'm kidding. And yeah, it has to be. It absolutely has to be Hacks. I mean, there's no doubting that. Yeah, everything you just said. I mean, he's captain, most minutes. Every time he played, he was the best player for us, both defensively and offensively in some games. There's a big drop between him and second place because Powell, Nombe, Wilkes all had their moments of not quite good games and runs, but beyond a shadow of a doubt, he just emulated what Victor did last season. In that every single game he was relied upon. He was the leader. He was the best player on the pitch. He kept Rotherham in games. He even scored important goals this season, which somehow he's done as a centre half. What was Reading? The Reading game. There was the Cambridge game. There was no. I don't know how he did it. He managed to make vital clearances and then game-winning goals. Sorry, and he was He is going to be sorely missed. And if he's in League One next season, I would be disappointed for him because I think he is without a doubt. Championship quality, especially at centre half. And I know you two don't like him at centre half in particular, but as a player, that is his best. That is where you're going to get the best out of him. He might be quite effective in centre mid, but his actual best attributes come at his magnetism to the ball, which is just sensational. So yeah, I'd be very surprised if he didn't end up at Wrexham, Birmingham, or the other team that goes up, or one of the teams that were fighting down at the bottom last season. He's not quite got that step up to the top half of Championship, but yeah, and I'd also be gutted to play against them next season because that we're not going to score.
Correct. Yeah, if I'm Charlton or Leyton Orient planning early for next season, Hacks is on that list. So whichever club you are, you're going to be looking at those. Is there anybody else that comes close, Mick? Tom Case Hacks wins it. But honour mentioned to Nombe. I think Nombe's he's been our breakout player anyway, as we mentioned. Nombe.
Yeah, I mean, 15 goals, 20 goal involvements. He's done his job in a. Let's be let's be sort of optimistic in a bang average team. You know, how many goals did we score this season? 47, was it? Some ridiculously small amount, whatever it were. You know, and he's 60 goals. He's been involved in a third of them. You know, that's his job, and he's done his job, and he's done it well, and he's put the hard yards in. You know, he's worked and worked and worked and worked. No matter what, no matter how bad we've been overall as a team, you can always rely on Sam Nombe to absolutely put the yards in. You know, so yeah, he would win it for me. I think had it not been for Hacks being so good. But again, like Tom mentioned there, Joe Powell has been excellent for a good part of the season, but he has had his moments where he's been out of games and not really been involved. And likewise with Malik Wilkes. So no one else has really been in the team, but for long enough periods, other than those sort of four. Cam has just been Cam this season. You know, had he stepped up, had he started the season in that holding midfield role, he could have been in with a shout, because I think he was really suited to that. But yeah, Hacks by a long way. But like Tom said there, you know, honourable mention to Sam Nombe, because I think he's been really, really good personally. Yeah,
I think that's fair. We also, who do you think has the highest points per game for a player that's played more than 5 games for Rotherham United this season?
What do you mean points per game?
So, who has the best win ratio essentially?
Sean Raggett. Has to be Sean Raggett. Nah. I honestly, that was a genuine guess, because basing off of the little games he's played, I feel like we've won all of them. It's probably Cam Dawson. I'm thinking of someone who hasn't
Williams.
Yeah.
We average 1.84 points per game when Sean Williams has played this season.
He's played twice.
Well, I got to have a look, and the first one listed said 3 points a game. Like Jake Hull, he's played twice.
Yeah.
So I couldn't count.
What is that based on? Appearances or starting? Do you know?
That's all. It's all.
So even if you get subbed on, all right.
Yeah.
I can see that. I think he's genuine. If he can stay fit next season, I think he'll be an important cog in that midfield, because he does the hard yards like Nombe does, but in midfield, and he's physical and he keeps the ball well. Nothing spectacular, but yeah, I tip him to do well next season.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're looking at Joe Powell, could be a big player. McWilliams could be a big player. Nombe, if he's still here, is going to be a big player for us. There's enough to be excited around at the club at the minute. Obviously, there's enough for people to complain about as well, which is maybe the perfect mix. So there we go.
There'll always be something to complain about.
Yes, that's true. That concludes the awards ceremony, everybody. Well done. Well done, everybody. Do we want to mention the Centenary stuff that's been announced?
Yeah, can do.
So we'll cover it now. The badge that's been announced from the season, for the season ahead, has divided opinion. Some people think it's simplistic in a good way. Some people think it's simplistic in a bad way. I sit where it's fine. It looks okay. I have a few problems with it. Is that when you look at it on Twitter on the club's bio, it gets lost in the red. It doesn't stand out to me, and I don't know whether it needs an outline to it or what. It just gets lost in the bio for me, and I think it's a bit too plain for a Centenary. Go big. It should have the years on it. It should have 25 to 2025. It's not terrible. It's just not great. Having said that, it could look great on a kit, and that will be the test, really. If the kit comes out and it looks brilliant on the kit, then I take back everything I've just said. But I'm looking at it now as the club's bio, and it gets lost in every tweet that I see on here. Whereas the old badge stood out on Twitter and social media and everything else like that. So that's why I'm not negative, but just a bit not impartial. What's the word? Indifferent to it. Indifference to the word. Thank you very much, Mick. I know, Tom, you said you were a fan of the Centenary badge.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I thought it was clean, crisp. I just think you get issues when you start going too fancy and too detailed. There's MK Dons is new badges, and then there's other badges in the past that do too much, and more or less 99% of cases get turned and get reversed back to what it originally was. So I'm glad that they kept it clean, but yeah, I do agree with you, Matt. They could have done more. They always could do more as a club, can't they? So but no, I think if anything, I'm happy that they've not mucked it up more than anything, because there was a big chance that they could have. And I'm not saying that I credit them for not, but yeah, just relatively happy that it's not the worst thing I've seen.
Yeah, they could have made an absolute mess of it, and they certainly haven't made a mess of it. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think of people doing the MK Dons. Really, everything's circular. I'm really glad they haven't gone down that route as well.
Yeah,
just it's easy to mass produce or whatever it is. Because MK Dons are famous for being a bit tin pot, and they've just made the badge a bit more tin pot, which is a disaster for them.
Yeah.
Mick, your thoughts on it? You don't normally have opinions on this.
No, I don't know as I have. I do agree with you. I think it could have probably had the years on 1925 to 2025 rather than the 100. I'm not really sure why they've done that, to be honest. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what it looks like on the kit. And again, I get what you're saying. Because it's got no outline, it tends to be. It just tends to fade a little bit into the background. But who knows? We'll wait and see. It's not really a big deal, is it?
No.
It looks nice. I like what they've done with it. Looks good. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I guess will it be on all the kits or just the home one? So Mick,
let's not get too angry about it.
No, it's not worth getting angry about. No, definitely not. Will it be on all kits, home one? I might guess it would be on all the kits. It's a Centenary, so I suspect they're going to do something special for all three kits. We obviously don't know. That's a guess. Tom K, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Little tweaks are fine. We're all very, very happy with the Rotherham badge as it is, aren't we? This is not like Tom's right. It's not. At the end of it, it's not a massive issue. The issue becomes if the kit's rubbish, then you've got that on a rubbish kit. But you'd hope they've done a good job with the kit, because in general our kits are pretty good, to be fair. Yeah. So hopefully we'll see how it looks. I'll reserve judgment to see how it looks on the kit fully, and then we'll go from there. Season ticket prices have been announced. Looks to be around a £5 a month, just under a £5 a month increase on adult tickets. A little bit, I think it's £2 or £3 on a child's ticket. Mick now goes into the new category of concession. Well done, Mick. So Mick's got a significant reduction. So is there any point asking you, Mick, on this one?
No point at all, mate. I think they're very reasonably priced. Listen, don't moan about it. Don't moan about it. Please don't anybody moan about it, because we've got people, and I know this is all over Twitter. I know all over social media, people saying exactly this, and they're absolutely right. You can't on one hand say sign him, offer him this, offer him that, offer him other, and then moan when your season ticket price goes up. You can't have both. So look, they were always going to go up. So we've got to deal with it. So deal with it. If you don't like it, with the greatest of respect, if you don't like it, don't buy one. It's the answer, isn't it? Like if you don't like what we talk about, don't listen. It's an option.
It is an option. Some people don't take the option, but it is an option.
I wish some people would, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it's like, what is it, £40 a year, something like that. It's come to, Tom. There's other clubs that have had much more significant increases than us. The club said last year that I seem to remember, it's obviously not worded like this, but they felt like they should have increased it last year. But bearing in mind the season we had in the Championship, they couldn't justify it. People are now using that this season. Well, how can you justify it again? Well, the running costs have increased significantly over the last 2 years. The world prices, everything you buy in this world has increased significantly over 2 years. And if you think about it that way, over the last 2 years, bearing in mind the cost of everything else, the club will increase by £40 a year over 2 years. realistically, it's not bad. It feels bad, but it isn't, I don't think.
No, and I mean, the sense I got online was that most people were upset because of it being bad football, and they feel like they're being punished by paying an extra £4 a game. Was it
£4 a month?
£4 a month. So, yeah, deal with it. I guess I don't know. It's kind of one of those where if you're not going to pay the extra £4 a month, then unfortunately you don't have a season ticket. And that's not me saying like, deal with it. It's harsh. That's not me saying simply deal with it. That's me saying that it's just going to have to, you're just going to have to pay. But yeah, I think that's where the injustice lies, is that people don't feel like they're getting rewarded for turning up each week, and that they're watching a load of crap, and that that they're having to pay more to watch to chance watching a load of crap. But that's football. We're gonna you have to chance it every week. And it might be a bad game, might be a good game, but you're just gonna have to chance it because you are a supporter and you go under any circumstances. And in hindsight, £4 a week is not £4 a month. Sorry, is not bad. It just means one less pint a month, which is not the end of the world if you consider the world economy at the minute. And yeah, and if you want the club to do better, pay more, buy players, improve pitch facilities, whatever, then paying an extra £4 a month is part of that process. And I'd be I'm happy to. Everyone else should try and see that vision.
And to be fair, I agree with people who say that we've had crap served up to us certainly for the bulk of this season, and the good part of last season as well. The club have done something about that. They've tried to do something about that. They've changed the manager, and hopefully that will improve. But at least they're actually doing something about it rather than sitting on the hands and making us endure another season of what we've just had to put up with. They're trying to address that problem. So, yeah.
You also, I'm probably going to word this quite badly, but you don't pay your money to watch your team win. You pay to support your club.
Yeah.
You can't. £5 a month is not going to guarantee success, but we'll all still be there. Everyone's got a season ticket. You go there to support your team, and if we're in League Two and the price were the same, there'll still be a significant number of people who will still pay that extra money a month just to support your football club. We all want to see better football, but that's not what you support. You don't support your club just to see them win, do you? You support them through thick and thin. I think we've lost that a little bit in English football, to be honest with you. But yeah, told you I worded it badly. Michael Miller saying concessions price of Rold is going up 42% last year.
That's a little bit ridiculous.
Terry Fenby mentioning it as well. Yeah, that's not good. But mix timing it just right to just drop into it at the right time.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Harrison, I thought they'd announce it then give his temptation into buying one by giving Hacks a new deal, but in reality, the exact opposite has happened.
Yeah,
it has. But there we go. That's again supporting your football club. We lose games, we win games, we lose players, we get players. It's all part of the experience of supporting any football club. And if you don't like it, you shouldn't support your football club, to be honest with you. Get on board. Anything else you two want to mention?
Moment of the season? No?
Oh, God.
Did we do the away team performance of the season or just the individual?
We don't normally do an away team performance.
All right. Well, they were Crawley anyway.
Crawley, yeah. Crawley was the team, but none of the players won the award.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to try and do like an opposition team of the season, that'd be interesting.
It would. Absolutely. There you go. There's a challenge to everybody. Tom Kaskin, do we think we'll see a retro kit next season? I would hope so.
Oh, yeah, please.
Be one of them. Michael Miller, best refereeing moment of the season?
I think it's good that we can't think of one, because I think if you were to ask worst referee moment, again, not a lot comes up in my head as a blatant, because obviously the last season was Peltier's handball outside the box. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen. But this season,
the worst one with Mansfield offsides, wasn't it? There
we go. We've got a winner.
Yeah, but
that's Lionel. So
yes,
What I would say, and I said this at the beginning of the season, and I know John's not in comments tonight, and he's been slating me on direct messages on Twitter, but the standard in this division is better than it is in the Championship. I stand by that. Yes, there's some howlers. Say again?
I don't think it's been that bad, the standard overall.
There's been some howlers, but they're always going to be because of the nature of the job. But in terms of the standard of the quality of officials, League One is a better league than the Championship. I'm saying that from the point of view of the Rotherham United supporter
that we've seen.
And also, without wanting to sound like an arse, we're one of the bigger clubs of League One, if you like, because of our your status over the last 12 years. We're absolute scum in the Championship. That clearly has an effect. It clearly does. Whether it should or shouldn't, I don't know. But yeah, the quality's been so much better than it has been in the Championship, and that, I think, if you went back through all our podcasts from League One and the ones we have from the Championship, it's week in, week out we're complaining about it in the Championship every week without fail. Here, it's the odd one or two, you know. So I don't know. Maybe they've got some decent up and coming young referees who are going to make it through to the Championship, but it's whether or not they'll get. I don't know what the word is. I don't want to use the word corrupted because that's not the right word, but you know what I mean in terms of
I know you mean.
The way that they perceive the game, and they'll fall into the traps that those Championship refs do. We'll see.
Yeah. Sean H, can't wait for Mick's Best Car Park Award. Do we have a Best Car Park of the Year, Mick? Is a good non-football if you must.
Obviously, my Wales car park is a favourite because I spend a lot of time there. I'll have a think and I'll come back to you over the summer with a short list of car parks for us to discuss. It's free. The Wales one is free parking. You know. So what can I say?
Stevenages were quite good, massive, free.
Yeah,
quite easy to get out of.
Reasonably easy to get out of. Surprisingly easy to get out, to be honest. But we did wait for an hour before after kick-off after the end of the game. But yeah, Stevenage was a decent car park again, free. So you know, I'm all for a free car park, especially if it's got a nice park at the back of it.
Yeah.
Good call.
Theme here. Freeness, cheapness. Your Yorkshiremen's are showing.
Yeah.
Right, we'll end it there. Thank you everyone for watching. That's basically the end of this season officially. Now we don't have any other shows planned to review the season that's just gone. Thank God. We will not be back on Thursday. The Thursday episodes are now done for the season. They'll start again closer to the season. We will though be back next week for the Centenary. Now I was hoping that would clash with our 500th episode, but that's not going to happen since we're getting rid of Thursday's episodes. But we will still do an episode on the day of the Centenary. And what I think we will do is, if people want to do this, is come on. We'll do it as a kind of a phone-in. If people want to come and tell us about some of their favourite Rotherham moments over the last 100 years and share some memories, that might be a better thing to do. Because the Centenary is about the last 100 years. I don't think anybody will remember the first game. But if you do, please do let us know.
I remember it.
Yeah.
No.
I think that's the best thing we can do is get other people involved, because we can talk about our memories till the cows come home. But
and do.
And we do. But if anyone wants to come on Tuesday next week, remember it's Tuesday, it's a special episode for the day of the Centenary. We'll do a special episode. We will be back on Sunday to talk about something. I don't know what we're going to talk about on Sunday at this point. But a week's a long time in football and in life. So hopefully something will pop up between now and Sunday for us to talk about. If not, we'll find something. Make sure you've subscribed. We ticked over to 1,800 subscribers over the last few days. I think that was after the Lee Peltier interview. So thank you, everybody who has subscribed over the last year. The numbers over the last 3 or 4 months have rocketed. So thank you, everybody who has joined us for these episodes, even though it's been terrible. Rotherham United, not the show, not the quality of the show.
That's always terrible.
Yeah. That's still the same level of terrible. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. We really do appreciate it. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, we haven't forgotten about you. Please make sure you like, subscribe, 5-star rating, whatever your service allows you to do, please make sure you do that as well. We will see everybody next time, which will be Sunday. Thank you all for watching, and as always, up the Millers.
Oh, the Millers.
The Millers.
Ravel, vicious, but brilliant! Mule with it, Wood's got round the back, and Richie Wood has done it again! The magic man has come up with another trick! Well, here's a chance to seal it!